Hello everyone, Kristina here. Welcome to another live stream here at my YouTube channel. Tonight I'm going to be doing a little bit, let me roll my chair in here. Tonight I'm going to be playing with my February release, just a few of the products, which if you saw Jennifer McGuire's live yesterday, she was starting to do exactly what I had planned to do today, so it's kind of funny. Here is my February release. I've grouped them into storage pockets by bundle or whatnot. And I thought I would use the Simple Flowers stamp set dies and stencil pack. I don't know if I'm going to use the dies today. I think it mostly will just be the stencils and the stamps. But we've got a bunch of different things to use. I'm also going to use the Big Type Greetings dies and the Simple Dots background stamp. So that is the plan for today. I do have all of my cards that I made for this release. So I thought I would just show you what the stencil can look like. It can look like this. So I'm going to be doing some stenciling today, and I really loved the white pigment ink on top of the flowers. I think I'm going to do the polka dots in white pigment ink this time, just for something a little bit different. And I'm going to do a 5x7 card today. This stencil set is great for 5x7 cards because it's actually a 6x9 stencil. So, and it's going to be on a colored card base. I thought it'd be fun to do something with color. That card that I showed you before, that was on, I think it was a pink lemonade piece of cardstock. This time I'm going to use Nectar. And I have my grip mat from Waffle Flower. You know, I've started, because I hate having to peel this off the backer, I've started to just leave it on the backing sheet. And then I take like tape and tape the backing sheet to my work surface so it doesn't like slide around. Is that weird? That's what I've started doing. So now I can it's not going to move around much. But I do love using like grip mats like this with stencils because it really holds everything down. Okay, here's my lovely piece of Nectar Cardstock. I'm sticking that down. And then here are some tips on using this stencil set. Now, all the images, the flowers and the leaves and whatnot, they overlap each other. However, the centers of the flowers, you do need to take special note of where those are going. That is the only reason you need to make sure you line up these stencils right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this kind of centered over my work surface here. Actually, hold on. I'm going to take note of a couple things. There is writing on the bottom of the stencil. See how it says Simple Flowers in this bottom corner? You want to make sure that that is facing up so you can read it correctly, and then have it at the bottom. And just take note of that when you use the other stencils as well. So I'm going to hold these down to the grip mat on those sides there. And then I'm going to take some Post-it tape. You can do like masking tape or Post-it tape. But I'm just going to put this tape up here in the top corner. And then I'm going to do a little bit of tape down here in the bottom corner. And that's just going to give me the two corners I need to line these stencils up every time. So it's going to go super easy. I wanted to do kind of like tone on tone flowers. So I'm going to be using Grapefruit and Sorbet. I'm going to start with, actually it might, well, yeah, I'll do this set of flowers in Grapefruit and then I'll do the next one in Sorbet. Starting out with Grapefruit ink, just getting some of that. And I'm going to just start ink blending in. I'm going to try to get the outer edge, like the outer, I'm trying to define the edges of the flowers. Then I'm going to very carefully lift the stencil. It's very stuck to the mat. Lovely. Those are just nice and soft. That's exactly what I wanted. So that's our first stencil. I'm going to do the next stencil. So once again, I'm going to check to make sure The etching is on the front, so it says Simple Flowers. And I'm just going to line that up right there and line it up in the bottom corner. Press that down, and I'll change flower colors. All right, so here's Sorbet. I'm going to use the same blending brush since these are similar colors. And Sorbet should come in and be a little bit deeper in color, at least I'm hoping. It really might not show that much. I might have to switch to a different blending brush. I think I will. I'm going to switch to one of these from Simon Says Stamp, which is a brand new brush, but I can get a little bit of a deeper color application. Like those Pinkfresh brushes that I was just using, they, I find that they're really good for like lots of color and dispersing the color to like a really soft area. And you can do that with these Simon Says Stamp brushes, but I find them, the Simon brushes, to be a little bit easier to like concentrate the color. Like I'm really trying to get this lots darker just right around those edges. You could even move to a smaller brush if you want, but really I just want to get this color really concentrated. It has a smaller brush head, so it's a little bit easier to do that. So next I'm going to take the leaf layer and I'm going to add my leaves. I'm going to lift up this stencil first very carefully. Oh, there we go. Get our two-tone flowers. And then onto the leaves. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm checking to make sure the etching that says Simple Flowers is on the front. I'm going to line up these corners. Okay, so I've picked out two different colors of green ink for this. I've got Avocado and Artichoke. I'm going to do the Artichoke on the leaves that are, you know, closest to the flower it's supposed to be on. And then, well, I guess it really doesn't matter which end you use it on, but okay, I'm going to start with the Avocado. And I'm also going to switch to a smaller blending brush. This is one of the mini blending brushes from Altenew. And I'll just come in here. I'm going to start ink blending. And I basically want this Avocado to go over the entire leaf area. And then I'm going to come back with the Artichoke and add more. I kind of feel like you need to match the size of your stencil openings with the brush that you're using. So these are smaller openings than those flowers, so I switched to a smaller brush. And I'm going to come in with Artichoke, which is a more intense green. They almost look the same in their ink pads like this, but Artichoke really is quite a bit darker. You can see it just applies darker. So I'm just going to really come in and kind of emphasize one end of each leaf. And then right here. Sometimes it's hard to pick these up. Oh, that's cute. I like that. Next up, we've got our flower centers, and you can see they line up perfectly because I did these two corners. So I'm going to use Stardust, smaller openings, so I'm going to stick with a small brush, another one of the Altenew mini blending brushes. I think coming in with like a brown center would be really pretty as well. But I'm going to do this yellow because I think adding in just one more color would be really nice since everything is so monochromatic at the moment. Okay, I think I got all the centers that are showing. Oh, cute. I wasn't sure about this color combo, like ink blended on top of the nectar, but I am loving it now. All right, and I'll peel this up. Flip off that grip mat. Oh, it turned out so cute. Okay, I now have my MISTI and I'm going to do some stamping through the stencil. Just take that right there. You could also use one of the grip mats in your MISTI that would hold it in place, which probably would work a little bit better. But here we are. I'm going to be using the Simple Dots background stamp. All right, and this is too big for my dot stamp, so okay. So one of these ends, okay, like this. Notice how this dot up here ends away from the corner and this one is at the corner. If you want to repeat your dot stamp, you put it this way so that you can repeat it up there. So I'm going to put my dot stamp right here. Do I want to do grapefruit? I think I do. Okay, we'll just do it. And if we don't like it, then, well, we tried. Oh, it like hardly, I mean, it didn't do all the dots right here. Interesting. I guess I need to push it harder to get through the stencil. There we go. That's better. All right, I'm going to clean off my stamp so I can position it again. Okay, close enough. Just make sure I press the door of my MISTI close enough that it can get all of the polka dots. Looks pretty good. All right, let's see how that turned out. That's pretty cute. Just with those polka dots. All right, and then here's a tip for when you're putting your background stamp back on the sheet that it is stored on. So I've got the two corners that are cut out up here. I've got these two corners. So I'm looking on this and I can tell that it's these two corners up here. So then I just come in and I line that up. There we go. And then you can peel it up like that and it's back on its sheet. I was then going to use the big type greetings. Okay, so I've got all this gold. I've obviously die cut the thank you a couple of times. All right, I'm putting my clean plate facing the gold so that it won't mess up the rest of my gold cardstock here. Oh, you know what I did? Sometimes I don't like how it leaves little polka dots on it right there. So I've noticed that the little dot thing is reduced if I take out my metal shim. So, and also if I cut toward the, if I take out this metal shim, so I'm taking out my metal shim, and then if I cut toward the cutting plate, that I don't get, it doesn't show as much on the metallic cardstock. So I'm going to run that through right now. Okay, it still cuts it beautifully. But look, there's like hardly any of those dots. I can see a little bit more right there, but there isn't anywhere else. It's so great. All right, got my little shadow there. But I was thinking of kind of having just like a band of artichoke could really ground the card. So in my essentials dice, there's kind of this like little scallopy edge. And I'm thinking I might be able to extend that edge so that it would go like all the way across with a little bit of creative die cutting. So as you can see, basically I want like the little bumps towards the top of the card, and I want it to go all the way across like that. But this die is not big enough. So we're going to do some extending of that. I'm going to start it cutting like this. And when I put my plate on, I'm going to have it only right here. Only where there's the complete sandwich will it actually cut. So it's not going to cut this corner or this section right here. So I'm going to feed it into my die cutting machine like this. Okay. So now you can see how it only cut that little edge. So now I'm going to come over here, and it's not going to line up perfectly, but we're just going to pretend. We'll just bring it in like that. And it only needs to cut about to right there. So I'm going to run it through the other direction like this. Hopefully that worked. Lovely. Oh, that worked out pretty good. See that edge there? Hello, focus. It doesn't want to focus. But I also have this edge that I could use also. But now I have this cute little edge that I can use on the bottom of the card. And I'm thinking I also might want to do like another little gold strip there. So I want it to be the same width as the gold frame. So I'm going to use the same dies. You didn't see me use, I already had it cut, but I'm going to go ahead and just cut another one of these A7 thin frames dies so that I can have the same width right there. So as I put it through my die cutting machine, I'm just going to use this and it'll get that outer edge. All right. I would have gotten the entire frame except I'd already cut thank you out of the bottom there. So I have like an incomplete frame, but I can use those, I can save those scraps for something else. And look at that, I've got like some nice gold strips. In fact, maybe, do I want it a little bit of a thicker? Let's test this. All right. We're going to pretend that that's right there. Assemble that on right there. Or we could do a thicker gold, or even, I like that idea. What if I did both? That's kind of cute. Layla says, your workspace is always so uncluttered. I love that. I don't always see this, but it makes me happier. That's because you're only seeing a portion of it. Let's see some behind the scenes. There you go. It is a complete mess. The grid area itself, sure, yeah, it's great. But the actual, oh, only what you see looks uncluttered, put it that way. All right, I'm going to put the glue right across here. Oh, this is a brand new bottle of glue. I forgot I opened one. I don't have to push as hard to get the glue to come out. Okay, so here's my 5x7 card base. I'm going to adhere my background down onto the card itself now. So I'm just going to use some tape runner adhesive. This tape runner is so sticky. I am never concerned about cardstock like coming up when I use this adhesive. Like seriously, I can't. It sticks to my fingertips so much. Okay. All right, there's our pattern. But I am going to do it with glue instead of that tape runner because I want to give myself a little bit of time to wiggle it into place. You could also use a T-square ruler, but I'm not going to worry about it. Look at that. That bump ends perfectly right there. That's so great. All right, I'm going to hold this down just for a minute. I'll hold it down until I can safely cut off this end without it moving. I think that's about right now. So I'll turn this over. I'm just going to lop off that end. Oh, I cut a little bit of that right there. That's okay. Okay, so now I'm going to be putting the gold frame on the outer edge just to finish it off. But this is a tip for if you're doing the thin frames. Apply the glue to your card, not to the frame, because the frame is going to kind of flop around and it's going to be hard to keep it only touching the edges, and you run the risk of putting that glue everywhere where it flops down and touches the card. So I just apply a really thin line of glue, or you could even just do dots, but I just do it all the way around the outer edge, and then that frame is going to go right over the top. So I just get that corner. See, it's like flopping around. So I'm trying to get that corner on there. Okay. You can use your fingertips to kind of nudge it into place. Okay. A little bit of that glue kind of sticking out a little bit, not a big deal. I'm noticing with this new bottle of glue, because it is brand new, so it's not clogged at all, that the glue is coming out much faster than my previous bottle of glue, which I think I was using for nearly a year. That's how big this bottle of glue is. Betsy says, she's the one I was saying is a designer, I've always loved typography and am so particular about it. So I love words created by other designers like Kristina and CZ, who also get it. It is true. It is true. I am very picky about fonts and typography. Yeah. And I know Kathy Zilski, CZ, is as well. So we're big fans of good typography. Okay, let's see here. I want to put it like right here, but there's one of those weird little dots right there. And so I'm like, maybe I'll just slide it over just a little bit. Okay. Oh, that is cute. Okay, now I'm debating if I want to use the flower dies, and I could do just a couple of little tiny flowers. Okay. Do we like it, or is it just too much? Is it getting lost? It might be getting lost because of that background. Like, is it just pulling away from the background? Is it making it? I think I'm going to leave it as is. Sometimes, you just got to like cut the stuff, see if it's going to work. You got to test it. You know what I'm saying? To like really decide, yeah, I am done. Oh, I guess you could use the flowers on the inside of the card. That's not a bad idea. And if it's not straight, that's fine. Oh my word, I just realized I have a hinge of my MISTI that is like coming out. Remember how I was afraid that my MISTI was going to be like broken, and so I bought a second one, which I have yet to even use once. It's like I was foretelling this. Oh, that's cute. Okay, I'm like, how did the leaf move? It moved, Kristina, because it's not adhered. So here's the finished card. I love how this turned out, and I like the addition of the inside that Pam in the chat suggested. I think that turned out really, really cute. So even though I didn't use those pieces on the front of the card, I was able to use them on the inside. So once again, this is the Simple Flowers bundle, and I use the Simple Dots background plus the Big Type Greetings dies. So those are all the items I used from my February 2025 release. All of the links to these products over at the C9 shop are listed down below in the video description. If you'd like to take a look at those, do a little shopping, I'd greatly appreciate it. And I hope you guys have fun. And that, I've heard from a bunch of you that you ordered products from this release. I can't wait to see what you create with it. I can't wait for you to get it in your hot little crafty hands and get to creating. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon.